Hello and thank you for joining us on Journalist Hangout on Sunday. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, United Nations warns its staff about insecurity in Abuja following attack on Kuje Custodial Center. Predict more abductions and terrorism by freed terrorists. A Kiriade people of Kogi State celebrate New Yam Festival. And later on the show, LMC confirms relegation of MFM FC from 2021-2022 MPFL season. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Utitoju, who is making his return. Welcome back, Jide. And Wale Adeoye.
Thank you.
So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. On Spot, we'll have a special guest in the house, Godwin Enakena, will be joining us on Spot to talk about the relegation of MFM FC. Now, let's begin with flash floods in Lagos, southwest Nigeria. Reports by the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency and other climate organizations listed Lagos as one of the 10 cities across the world that may sink, listen to that, in 2050. Due to low topography. Heavy rainfall, which led to flooding that submerged many parts of Lagos, buttressed the growing concern about further rise in the sea level. On Saturday, heavy rain disrupted Eid Kabir prayers and celebrations in Lagos, forcing many people indoors. Those who ventured out faced torrid time moving around. Emergency responders rescued 3 persons from a jeep that was swept away by heavy flood around Oyatoki area of Agege. Let's share some of the videos with you. Okay, one question, subject.
We are in front of this barrack. See, Mada Barracks. Mada Barracks, Yaba. See water. See water.
During rainy season, to look for the house. I'm waiting this one, they define. It has reduced.
Jide, let's start by disabusing people's mind first of all. The situation we find ourselves in Lagos. The report I read, Lagos is one of those sinking cities that has been predicted by the United Nations that we are below sea level. So yes, this has nothing to do with maladministration in Lagos.
No, well, the truth is, people expect every government to solve every problem. This problem of flooding has defied even the best governors in Lagos State. Fashola put an end to flooding. His boss, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, did not put an end to flooding. Tinubu tried to address flooding by looking at the urban and regional planning board. A lot of indiscipline, a lot of corruption, allowed people to build houses on drainage channels.
Same problem.
Tinubu fired people in that ministry because houses, including skyscrapers, were built on drainage channels. Who gave approval for those houses to be erected on drainage channels? Awolowo way. Even the Lagos Business School have been told that it's on a drainage channel. I've heard that before. So, no matter how good your intentions are, you also need the right people to work with you. If people allow houses to be built on floodplains, on natural pathways of water, we will have flooding problem. Lagos, by reason of geography, has found itself where it is. It's not only in our country that this happens. Some Asian countries,
California,
their
Jakarta,
problem is worse than this. What happened in New Jersey the other day?
Oh, no.
You know? So tsunamis happen.
Yeah.
These things happen, but on our part, or on the part of government, we ought to play our own part. Where people turn drainage channels to their refuse dump
sites,
where they will now be pouring, they now wait for the rains
to fall,
they now be
and
pouring their waste.
Your waste.
You can't do that. A lot of even the canals are blocked already with plastics and other things because of indiscriminate dumping of waste. We have to look at that. I agree that we have serious issues that have to do with the geography of Lagos and other natural issues. But our people need to change their ways. You can't simply go and be bringing your waste once you see that rain is about to start falling. I mean, what was all this? You know? So this is some things need to be addressed. The Lagos State government must not relent in spite of the fact that we know that, look, there is a prediction waiting to happen. But we have to play our part. Global warming is also a factor.
Climatic change.
Yes, so it's triggering all kinds of problems that were not there before. But we still have to play our part as a people.
The special advisor on drainage on his Facebook page this morning actually showed the major drainage channels in Lagos, and he now showed 4 papers dumped. People, after eating that cellophane paper.
But the fact of the matter is that Lagos is one of the oldest cities in the world. We are talking of about since 12th century and became a colony in 1865. Since that time, even the colonial masters, the colonial lords, have been battling the problem of flood in Lagos. Remember the panegyric of Lagos? Aromisa Legbe. It's associated with Lagos State. Yes. So that problem has always been there. And I think in the 60s and the 70s there was original plan, fashioned out by Lagos, also improved upon by Yakonde. But for about 27 years of military rule, nothing was done. I think that was where we got it wrong. There was lack of, commitment to procedures. There was people gave land anyhow to cronies. People built anyhow. So that tradition of orderliness was lost until 1999, when Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu decided to start a new plan to reclaim Lagos, even after 27 years of damage. And we must realize that reclaiming Lagos, the government needs a very key pivotal role to play, but not just the government alone. We as individuals, we are not environmentally conscious. People dump waste anywhere. Go to our market stores. People just every day pack deaths on the street. So, and we don't have respect for environmental laws. We build houses anywhere where you are supposed to build just a small house. You build a mansion there, and when you don't have approval, you start building before you even get approval. So, it's a collaborative effort of the state government, communities, and also the federal government. And we must also realize that Lagos is listed as one of the 10 sinking cities. It's about 1 meter below sea level, which has been there for a long time. In fact, in Indonesia, they are moving their capital from Jakarta to Benue.
Because Jakarta is threatened.
Yes, it's threatened. You know, they are moving it about 100 kilometers away. Mexico City, Houston, Venice, California. Italy, California. So it's a major problem, and compounded, like Babagidi said, you know, with climate change, which, you know, it has less to do with Lagos State. You know, it has to do with a global warming. It's a global phenomenon. So we all need to collaborate together, the state government, communities, and corporate organizations. There must be higher corporate responsibility. If you see some companies sited in residential areas, which is not supposed to be so, some industrial, you know, companies just, you know, release their waste into where people live. So we need a lot of collaboration, you know, between the government, communities, and the federal government before we can, you know, deal with this problem effectively.
This is as bad as in some other communities. They wait till the dead of the night, and they come out at places that are not designated as dump sites, even express roads. They will dump they will dump it there. There's a particular place I know around the Juro there. They will just dump it. Every day Loma comes there. I came down one day to ask the head of the team that, is this a designated dump site? And I said, no, that people just come in the middle of the night. They form that habit. They will dump it, thinking that they will come there the next day to pack it.
Yeah, well, the bad behavior of our people has to be addressed. Our people are behaving badly in many ways, and sometimes you ask yourself, why are our people behaving in this manner? Look, Ashwar Tinubu came up with what we call the drain dogs back then, and because he realized that the drains were always clogged, that he needed to do something about them. Now, for some of the modern roads that he gave Lagos, you will notice that the drains were always covered. Those drains were covered to make it difficult for people who dump refuse in them. Okay. You know, when there's no, when they put a slab on it, it's covered, there's just a small vent. Okay. You know, for those who may want to clean it, to be able to lift the slabs. So that's the only opening that you see. So you can't dump refuse. But unfortunately, refuse dumped kilometers away, when they start coming, it will get to a point that they will just clog the drains. So when they clog the drains, including, I'm talking about drains that have been covered normally now. When they clog the drains, the water then spills onto the road, and then
even
goes into people's homes.
Destroy the
road.
Yes.
Because, you see, they say that bitumen and water are never friends of one another. Any road that is constantly waterlogged will never last. It will fail in no time. So you see the way rainwater will now be spreading from the road straight into people's homes. That's what we see. All these places, Okekoto, Abotikui, all of those places in Agege, if you are hearing, you are seeing signals that it's about to rain, you better start running for 40 from that area, start going home. And if it gets to the, you can see now that you're on your road, on the road, and you can see that the water is rising.
Yes.
Get out of your car. Get out of your car. Even mile 12. You need to see. You know, the funny thing about mile 12, one side of the road full of water, the other side not really full of water. So it's a big problem here. And I'm saying that, yes, there are some radical changes that we should see. For me, when I'm driving through Lagos Island, in some parts of Lagos Island, I see the drains. The drains are not wide enough. I think that somebody has to look at the drainage architecture for Lagos and expand those drains, make them also deeper. Because, look, go to, I think, the Taylor, for example. Take a look at the drains in the hotel. At the time when those drains were made, the population of Lagos was not this much. The problem of flooding in Lagos was not this much. Yeah. So it means that these times need drains that can hold much more water than we are seeing now, so that they will be able to lead the water right up to the canals, rather than spilling onto the road and spilling into people's homes. You know, look, how can you have an hotel with so much history, like Federal Palace Hotel? You see people using canoe when that place is in front of Federal Palace Hotel. That kind of hotel, steeped in history. You see people using canoe in front. It's not fiction. You see people using canoe to move around in front of Federal Palace Hotel. The whole area waterlogged. I mean, it's not as if they are playing water polo game, but you just see people. Some of them, they turn it to fun. Yeah, no. Some people even make money. You just they can't. Especially women who don't want to get their body soiled. You see women carrying. They'll carry women like they are carrying babies. You know, some of them taking advantage of those women, and they just take them across the water. My professor even just mentioned my Don area in Mount 12 area. Yes, so those areas, even when they open the Onyon Dam, you know that Onyon Dam, anytime they tell them to evacuate them, that whole area is usually flooded. Okay, this is what we were saying. That one is a yearly affair. You can't tell them not to open the dam, because if they don't open the dam and release some of the water, if the dam breaks, it will kill people. The erosion. If the dam breaks by itself, people will die. So they must release. So they must release some of the water. Release some of the water. Usually when they do that, this whole area, that's the Korodu side, people's homes will be flooded. People will lose their belongings, and I think government has even created a place where they usually take them every year. I think they are calling on Lagos State government to intervene in that Maidon area of Mile 12. That they have their investments there, and it has been damaged substantively with what happened yesterday. Usually, the rain yesterday was just... No, it's even my own houses. Even my own house, I've not had that kind of... It just was raining for hours. Yes, I came out around 5:30 a.m. and it was raining ferociously. And I was watching it. I wanted to go out watching it. 12 noon, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. I was even wondering.
We've not had that for a very long time. Maybe around 2012 or so. Yeah.
That Sunday, July Sunday something, July 10th. Don't kill people.
Yeah, yes, I remember. And it started 3 days ago, almost non-stop. Just little interlude. It's a very big problem for everybody. We just need to be more conscious environmentally. Yeah. I know the Lagos government is investing in ocean barriers, and many other things, but we need to also be part of the effort to be able to reclaim Lagos individually, and because if Lagos does what Anambra State is doing, a lot of houses will go down, and people will come back and blame the government. And why are you pulling down, people's homes? A lot of houses.
The alternative is to watch people die, like it happens in the north, for example, when they have flooding. Kills people. Flooding in Katsina will sweep away houses and people. They will go and find some corpses in Niger Republic. It's that bad. In Katsina, when they don't experience a huge volume of rainfall. You can almost count on your fingers. But anytime. But one single rainfall, can cause so much flooding that even plants, farm produce will be destroyed. Even cows. So yes, we've seen water, we've seen rainwater, sweeping cows away in the north. So it's I think this year government has to be alive to its responsibility, because this is just the beginning. The north is yet to get to the peak of the rainy season. In fact, they just begun. So by the time we get to the peak, if we don't take some remedial steps now, we may not be able to handle the aftermath.
Okay, just in a similar vein, the aftermath of the rainy season, they said actions beget reactions, and one way or the other. In Anambra State, the demolition of the church belonging to Prophet Chukwuemeka Ohanemere, popularly known as Odumeje, evoked emotions, not just against action of government, but unprofessional conduct of one of the task force members at the scene. Odumeje was manhandled by security agencies who accompanied the demolition team following his attempt to stop the officials from carrying out the exercise. The state governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, has condemned the slapping of Prophet Odumeje and ordered disciplinary action against the personnel involved. Let's share the video with you.
It's okay. I got
I think the flooding problem, the same flooding problem affecting them in Anambra State. So Professor Soludo wants to make sure Onitsha, particularly that drainage channels are true, and I think that church was alleged to have been built on the same drainage channel. Jide, let's take it up from here.
And they got sufficient notice
since April.
Yes, but of course, it's difficult for someone to build something with so much money, and then we are telling them, look, evacuate, otherwise will come. They will not. They will want to hang on for as long as they can. That is what I suspect Dumeje and his people they were trying to buy time, so to say, but the government was not prepared to wait a day longer. But as we always say with these policemen and other people, any opportunity to humiliate fellow Nigerians is something that they jump at. I saw
small frame.
Yes,
you want to handle this kind of person.
How can you see in Nigeria somebody not fit to lace your shoes when he gets an opportunity to humiliate you?
Yeah,
as if you are the cause of the problem, as if you are the reason bread is so expensive in our country now, as if you are the one who said rice will be as expensive as it is. They will now want to humiliate you. People show their anger towards fellow Nigerians needlessly. Policemen, we've said this all the time. Look, policemen are the reason why we had the SARS
riots.
And a good number of them have not changed their ways.
Yes.
Government said, okay, the federal government said, okay, SARS, we are banning SARS. But there are still many bad eggs. There are still many, because a lot of them are Indian hemp smokers. If you see, and I've said this before, I challenge the police to produce the result of the test conducted on SARS personnel.
80% of them will be on drugs.
I challenge them. Let them show us the report. The report. A good number of them, their urine samples showed substance use or even substance abuse. This is what we are seeing. Otherwise, what should lead to you slapping a cleric? If something happened now and a cleric, a high-ranking cleric in northern Nigeria, they went to maybe his mosque, will you go and slap him?
Can't.
I don't want to compare people, places, and clerics, but I know that nobody, no policeman, even in his worst drunken state, will go and slap Sheikh Dairu Bauchi. You dare not. You will not.
There will be backlash.
Even if you are just coming from Arrow Psychiatric Center, you will still, your sanity will be enough for you to know that you can't slap such a high-ranking cleric. So no matter what, look, if we treated Odumeje like that, who can give me guarantees that they cannot slap Baba Adeboye like that? Because these are policemen behaving like, look, they have no control.
They are high on something.
That they have no control. Nobody can talk to them and they will listen. You became an embarrassment. You led almost a huge chunk of our country you pushed a huge chunk of our country into riots. You still haven't changed your ways. Do you know how many people have been killed in cold blood between the time we had SARS and now? People must realize why SARS happened. As students of history, we keep saying it that even Mr. President said that the SARS protest was necessary. The Vice President also said the protest was necessary. No matter what happened afterwards, we cannot forget why that protest happened. It is because of the wayward behavior of some badly trained and irresponsible policemen. This is what we've seen again. Why would you beat up the man? Why were you slapping him?
And the man was a Lu. Wale?
Yeah. It's very unfortunate the way our police behave.
Unarmed.
They deliberately instigate the people against the government. Because the police is supposed to be the image of the people in power when you are talking of law enforcement. And if you are enforcing law, there is a procedure. You arrest someone, take him to court, or you detain him after that, you take him to court. You can not even judge. But in this case, now you have passed judgment of physical assault, beating him and, harassing him. And if the man had responded violently, most likely he would have been shot. He may have been shot. So if they can do this to a man of God, what will they do to ordinary people like us? And you can imagine how many Nigerians, ordinary people that face this kind of persecution every day, all over the country.
Another angle to it is that if this man is not a peace-loving man, there are some churches that they will mobilize their members.
Yes.
Of course. And there's going to be a problem there in that place.
Yes. It will then become difficult for you to contain them.
Yes, because the number of people that will come.
If he sets people against the police,
how many people do you want to kill?
I can tell you, people who volunteer to go and take on the police. Already, the police is having issues even in the southeast.
Yes.
On Mondays, how many of them come out on Mondays?
How many of them can come out?
On Mondays. People should not, the misuse of power is the reason we are in some of the problems that we are today. Because you are armed with a gun, you then took it upon yourself to be beating people up. Look at the man who was introducing himself as one of the aides of, I think, is it Delta governor? So
yes, that he was slapped.
The guy slapped. He slapped him.
A custom officer.
Custom.
Slapped him. Dirty slap.
Custom that in the bandits are kidnapping them for fun in the northwest. The other day in Nasarawa, bandits took custom men away. They couldn't resist being kidnapped. But you can harass an innocent man. You can slap an innocent man. But at your outpost, we see bandits storm your outpost, take you away.
It took maturity for the man. He was so calm.
Yes, because he knew that he was even telling him to stop talking. If he continued, they will get more slaps.
Ahmed calling us from Lagos. Thank you for joining us, Ahmed.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for the good job you guys are doing. May God continue to protect you guys.
Thank you.
I just observed that actually the excesses of the policemen in Nigeria is something else we know. But going by the video, the clip you guys are showing now, if you look at it very well, the person doing the slapping is not a policeman. It should be one of the task force personnel or a civilian who is attached to them that is doing the slapping.
Whatever you call them, but it's
the policeman that is there, or the armed, either DSS also, is warning him, don't slap him, don't slap him. He kept on slapping him. I don't think it's a policeman, please. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your observation. All we know is that they had security.
Somebody is not wearing uniform does not mean it's not a policeman.
Yeah.
We even see policemen moving around in flip-flops, wearing beetroot slippers. That's what is called flip-flops. You see them moving around. So that you have not seen him in uniform does not mean that he's not a policeman.
Yes.
In any case, we've seen
they are members of the task force. They are police.
They are police. They wear black.
Yes.
We see police people there. What do police people do?
I feel even one of them. Look at it. Even if you look at that video very well, you see a policeman pushing him.
Yeah.
The one leading him to go and lock him inside the car was a policeman. What is the? Is it today that police have been misbehaving?
And some of them were even pleading that they should leave him alone. If the meaning of Ozugo, they should leave him alone, but kept slapping him. And I think this is not good for the optics for Anambra State government.
It's not
good. It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Though the governor has issued a statement that we investigate and,
We said they will punish the cops. If it is a policeman, can he punish? He can't punish.
He cannot.
He's not in position to punish. If it's a policeman, he's not in position to punish. He can only ask that they should punish the person. And if they fail to punish, there's nothing the governor can do. You know? And he also said that while he condemned the action, he also said that Dumeje will pay for the demolition.
Yeah. I think to mobilize to your own sites.
So who will pay for his humiliation? Will the governor pay for the humiliation that was subjected to?
Yes.
Will the governor pay?
Okay. Now, moving on now. Truth they say is like a calabash. No matter how it sank, it will always find a way to the surface. Nemesis has caught up with a customary court judge in Lagos. The state government has fired the judge, Ishola Adeyemi, who allegedly dissolved marriage of a complainant, Olayemi Ayeni, snatched his wife and impregnated her afterwards. The matter came to the public scrutiny after a video posted initially on Facebook in 2016 went viral recently. Julie, what is this? I go to court that I want to divorce my wife, and it's an avenue for the judge to take over. This is very unlike Lagos.
Well, every time this sort of thing happens, rest assured that several must have happened that we did not get to know about. It's still part of this indiscipline that we're talking about. Judges should be above board. Magistrates should be above board. You can't covet the wife of a man who has a case before you. You can't. If you start hiring the wife of someone who has a case before you, chances are that you will not be even
objective.
You will never be objective. You will be working towards an answer.
Yes.
You know, even where the couple need only to be separated temporarily.
Yeah.
And explore ways
of reconciling.
You are not going to see an opportunity there. Because already your desire is to get that woman by all means possible. Now, that's what the judge has done. They not only got her, put her in the family way. I mean, was he not thinking that if the woman gets pregnant that it would trigger all kinds of stories and all that. Was he not thinking about the implications of his actions? Because there's no way you... It's just like a policeman, and we've seen that happen too. A policeman detains an individual. The wife keeps coming to court, I mean to the police station to plead for his man. And invariably the DPO gets to sleep with the woman. That has happened when I was a tabloid editor. It happened here in Lagos. I don't want to mention that particular police station. He slept with the wife of the detainee. So people abuse privileges, abuse power in Nigeria. This is an example of abuse of power. Siding over a matter, and you helped yourself to the woman who had a case before you. I mean, it's very shameful.
In those days, these are the stories you read in magazines like Prime People. Yeah. Because I don't understand this kind of story.
It's part of the corruption we're talking about in the judiciary, that people want to deliver judgment based on gratification. In this case, it's not financial gratification, it's sexual gratification. And whatever it is.
Sexually transmitted gratification.
You know, it is corruption of the highest order. And just like Babajide said, I'm sure there are many cases that probably are going on, not just in Lagos State, but in some other places. Because it lowers the esteem of the judiciary for a judge to bring himself to this low water level. Not only that, you know, you did not give a favorable judgment, you decided to take over the wife of somebody who has come to complain to you. So I've been wondering, what kind of judge is this? And what kind of woman is that woman?
Yes.
I mean, no matter the level of desperation, because the man said he invested money, 5 million naira, into her business and some other things, you know, paying the school fees and all that. So
Nigeria of today, Jude,
I think
5 million naira.
The moral standard of the judge and the woman is questionable.
Still.
And most likely, this judge has a family.
Of course.
Let us even assume that the lady eventually delivers the baby. What kind of moral burden are you placing on this newborn baby when he grows up to learn about the route that it took to come into the world? I mean, I hope that, you know, this dismissal, you know, will be taken beyond just mere dismissal. It is time for us to see judges also face the rule of law. They are not above the law. If another man does this, I mean, there are, you know, stipulations in law, you know, that the person that has to be meted out to that kind of person. So, not just dismissal. There should be good example from Lagos State government, so that the National Judicial Council, they should prosecute him, and want to see what will come out of it. It's an embarrassment to the judiciary, an embarrassment to the society itself.
The lady, it says a lot about the lady in question today.
Yes, but I guess, you see, I don't know how it happened, but one can guess that the man reached out to the woman. Since, you know, in divorce cases, people always say that truth is the most scarce commodity when it comes to divorce matters. I mean, the two,
depend on the side of
the husband and wife want to do their best to gain greater advantage over the other person. The woman would want to make solid claims. She won't mind lying against the husband. The husband wants to win the case so just that this person does not make too much claims, and he will do his best to demonize his wife. In doing that, they don't care about the children. Because when everything has ended, some of those negative things you said about yourself, people will remember.
Some men go,
especially in this age of the internet.
Some men go like my wife is a flirt.
Yes.
She's sleeping around.
That may not have happened.
Why you want to...
Yes, just to be able to win. And it may not actually be the case. I remember when Gbenga Obasanjo and his wife had their divorce matter.
Case.
Very messy divorce matter. The judge had to tell them, because Gbenga kept saying that he wasn't sure that those children were his. And the judge said, see, people are reading these things today. Think about the future of your children. Because these children will grow up, their mates will taunt them about some of the things that you people said in the open court. So in the end, Gbenga said, well, all that he wants is to be able to have access to his kids, this and that. He loves his kids. This. So you can sense that it's not everything that was said that was the truth and nothing but the truth. It happens. Perhaps sensing that the woman could lose the case, the judge then reached out, offered to
help her,
to support her,
get off the hook,
in exchange for bouts of sex. And one thing led to another, as Nigerians say.
Chidi is calling us from Enugu State. Thank you for joining us, Chidi.
Okay, yeah. Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon, Chidi.
Yeah. My name is Chidi. I'm calling from Enugu. Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. I just want to say a big thank you to Babajide. Keep saying the truth. Most times I watch you, I appreciate you, I appreciate what you are doing. You know, keep saying the truth. The truth will always prevail. Like the case of Odumeje, slapping him, I am totally against him. Like you said, a big imam in the north, you can't raise your hand on him. And you said one other thing, because you know, most of the times, these people, if they see a small life opportunity to dishuman you, they can do it. I think that guy should be apprehended. It's very, very wrong. I can't see reason why you go and slap a man of God. No matter what happened, you have no right. It's a big assault, very serious assault. I believe the governor of Anambra State should pay him for that assault. It's a serious assault.
Even if the man is... Thank you, Chidi. Thank you for your contribution. Even the man is not a man of God. As an individual,
no right
you don't have...
No right.
You don't have...
They don't see...
Because you are carrying gun. That doesn't make you in any way superior to this person you are about.
Yes, just because you are carrying a gun. You know, you think that you have power over life and death. I mean, it's terrible. You've got to praise our policemen when they do well and not be afraid to condemn them when they, when they misbehave. It's as simple as that. It's not a personal thing. It's not a personal thing. We have nothing against them. We praise them. We have friends amongst them that we compliment. But there are people giving the police a bad name, messing up the good work of decent and well-brought-up people within the police. And that's a fact.
All right. Moving on. Last Tuesday terrorist attack on the medium security custodial center, Kuje in Abuja, left more reactions, apprehension, and heightened tension in its wake. The United Nations has advised its agencies in Abuja to increase level of security awareness in and around their premises following the attack. In a security advisory issued by the UN Department of Safety and Security, it asks its employees to avoid sensitive public offices and spending more time at malls and other public areas. The global body warned them that there will be more abductions and acts of terrorism by freed terrorists from the center. Let's begin the discussion with this story by TVC News' Sifon Essien on the states of custodial centers across the country.
The origin of what is now known as the Nigerian Correctional Service dates back to 1861 when the Western-type prison was established. In 1872, the Broad Street Prison was established with an initial inmate capacity of 300. Currently, the Correctional Service oversees the activities of 244 prisons or custodial centers, many of which are between 100 to 150 years old.
Most of the facilities we have in the custodial centers are actually outdated. Some of them were built in the 1800s. In Bauchi State, I think about 3 custodial centers there were all built in the 1800s. Most of them now are old, outdated. You go to one of the largest custodial centers in Nigeria, the Port Harcourt prison, is actually built in the early 1900s.
As of July the 4th, the custodial centers across the country had a total population of 74,675 inmates, among them 52,714 awaiting trial. There have been at least 13 security breaches or attacks on custodial centers across the country since October 2020. Notable among them are the prison break by hoodlums under the guise of NSAS protest on 2 custodial centers in Bini and Oko, both in Edo State, on October the 19th, 2020. On April the 5th, 2021, gunmen attacked the custodial center in Owerri, the Imo State capital. July the 8th, 2021, witnessed the escape of inmates from the custodial center in Jos, the Plateau State capital. The custodial center in Kaba, Kogi State, came under attack on September the 13th, 2021. Another attack occurred, but this time it was on the Abolongo Custodial Center in Oyo State on October the 22nd, 2021. The ISWAP attack on the custodial center in Kuje is the latest in a string of attacks that has thrown up many questions about the state of security of the facilities across the country. This retired group captain conducted an independent assessment of the facility in Kuje in the wake of the attack.
The scanning I did, honest, I see a lot of physical security measures that are not in consonant with what is required for a facility that is holding very dangerous criminals like the Boko Haram insurgent.
Section 28, subsection 1 of the Nigerian Correctional Service Act 2019 states that, quote, there shall be provided monitoring devices to protect, control, and safeguard correctional activities, including observatory towers, double perimeter walls, closed-circuit television, body scanners, e-monitoring devices, electronically activated alarm systems, and other instruments of restraint. End of quote.
Since the passage of that act, how many of these equipments, security equipments and gadgets have been provided for the custodial centers?
During the visit to the breached facility by the President of the Senate, who raised concerns similar to those raised by President Buhari, it emerged that the closed-circuit television at the facility was not working. There was no motion detection alarm system, and the perimeter walls fell far short of standards.
The place looked derelict. The place looked unkempt. The place looks, so dark that, in fact, even the setup encourages an attacker to attack that place. Because in security, that's what is called crime prevention through environmental design.
If you have a buffer zone, security buffer zone in custodial center, means that once you are coming close there and you have alarm systems, once you are breached or get close to the buffer zone, the alarm systems will go off, indicating that someone is actually crossing where he or she is not supposed to cross.
For those residing within the vicinity of the custodial center in Kuje, the incident of July the 5th is one they would not forget in a hurry. Sifon Asian, TVC News, Abuja.
For a long time, we will not stop talking about this prison break because we saw a lot of vulnerability in part of our security network and architecture. And somebody actually suggested that and they allowed those terrorists to go. what was why didn't we deploy the Super Tucanos to go and bomb them in Kuje? And I was like, Super Tucano in Kuje, the collateral damage will be more than what we are talking about. But a lot of people feel that these Super Tucanos, that they are like in the museum.
You see, we said before now that the Super Tucanos are not the silver bullets, do not constitute the silver bullet that will put an end to insecurity in our country. They are just going to play their part. And for me, as I've said repeatedly, if I had my way, I would buy a lot more ground attack helicopters than even the Tucanos.
Are they operational, Judy?
The ground attack? Yes, Tucanos. Yes. Because the only thing we can't use them around here. And I know they won't take the risk. You know, I've said this before. Look, if you bought the Tucanos from the Americans and they told you because of the protests that some Nigerians
human rights
made to them, that you limit the use to the Northeast, don't expect them to use it outside the Northeast. You can designate bandits, terrorists. That is you calling them terrorists. As far as they are concerned, the modus operandi of those people, their target, the people they go after, do not fit the definition, the global definition of terrorist. So that you have designated them terrorists does not mean that you can then go against the agreement that you had, that you will use it only in the Northeast. Because at that time, the terrorists were known to exist only in the Northeast. Now bandits...
And they're monitoring the movement.
Oh, you don't even need where they are. I can guarantee you that every sortie that those guys make is being monitored. That's the nature of Americans. America sold presidential jets to China and wired the jet. But because the Chinese knew them, that they were capable of doing it, the Chinese took their time. All the bugging devices that the Americans put on the jet, the presidential jet that they made for China, the Chinese removed everything and notified them that we saw these things. That's the way. So to imagine while dealing with a country like Nigeria, that you can fly to Kano anywhere and they won't be aware. I tell you, even the Air Force will not make the mistake. They won't take the risk.
The generals there.
They won't take the risk. They know what it means.
The implication.
Once you do it, you can't get the spares for Tucano again. And if you cannot get the spares,
to be useless.
After a while, they can't fly anymore. So they don't want to take that risk. The Tucanos are working and they are doing an excellent job, along with the UAVs, along with other vehicles, other military vehicles, armored personnel carriers, main battle tanks that this administration has bought. They are doing well. We are doing fantastically well in the Northeast. That is a fact. When was the last time you heard that Boko Haram attacked an army base? It's such a long time. The army does not need to lie to anybody anymore that, oh, we repelled the attack. As they used to tell us, even when they lose their bases. They don't need to tell those lies. More and more people will be closer to God now within the army, because there's no need to lie that we repelled an attack that we did not repel. So they are doing very well in the Northeast. But we have a problem here. And it's not the Tucanos alone that can do this job. The day we discussed the attack on that custodial center in Oyo State, I remember sitting here and advising the Interior Minister to call a meeting with service chiefs with a view to fortifying the prisons. We can't have a situation in which between October 2020 and now, we've had 11 prisons attacked. And every time they attack a prison, the most hardened criminals are allowed to go. and we want security to improve in our country, when killers are running around. Look at the case of the man who was convicted in Delta State, who was freed. The moment he got out of jail, he ran to his village to kill the person who testified against him. That's the thing. These Boko Haram guys, 68 of them,
oh God,
they've now been freed. They will be going around trying to hunt down people.
Do you in department?
Yes, that's what they're saying. They're telling their people that, look, don't keep late nights. Abuja can't be safe now because these guys are now on the prowl. They will be intent on killing people. So we allowed, as far as I'm concerned, that advice that I gave, I'm sure they did. They would just say, look, Jide has come again. What's the rubbish that Jide is saying? They didn't take the advice. When we hear, oh, the minister said it's a world-class facility. How is Kuje a world-class facility? Where they said the CCTVs were not working, where the drones, where the intrusion detection gadgets were absent. Is that how? Are those things supposed to be absent in the world class?
A tower that you meant to
where
have,
you can, where a sniper is supposed to see them from afar.
From afar.
Now, I read what the commander of the military base, the army military base, said. He said that all the people that they had protecting that place, including custodial officials, police and the army, that they were no more than 50. And these guys came with about 300. Ayo, is the same mistake that we made in Chibok. The students that were kidnapped in Chibok were supposed to be taken away from that school to go and write their exam in the state capital. They didn't do that. They assumed that because they had a few soldiers there, the school was protected. But you are imagining that the enemy, when he's coming, will not come with full force. Now this enemy came, about 300 of them, carrying most likely the same kind of weapons or even superior weapons. I've even read that they had superior weapons. Maybe what they meant by superior was because they came with IEDs, they came with grenades, you know, they came with AA. They came with AA. No, they always like to even go with RPG. They came with AA.
So they brought defenses down.
If you have all of that, facing people carrying AK-47, there's no armor tank. Facing people carrying AK-47, how can they stand up to you? Even the sound of an AA, once you know you are carrying an AK-47. I saw one of those guys firing at the prison. It was a GPMG that he was carrying. That video, the one that was firing at the door, it was a GPMG that he was carrying.
And they filmed it?
Yes.
Just
so that you will not be able to deny. So this is the thing. With 300 people against about 50, how can they survive?
They have, Wally, but he was told that they even have enough time to even to preach to those people they wanted to set free and everything, and they didn't do it in a hurry.
You see, this kind of attack, it will take 3 stages. The first stage is conception. Second stage is planning. The third stage is execution. In most countries, they nip it in bud at the level of conception, or at least at the level of planning. That is where intelligence gathering comes in. But when it gets to the level of execution, it is costlier. Because at that time, the people who want to carry out this attack, they've already made up their mind. Then there are so many questions that I find it very difficult to answer. 200 to 300 people coming to that place from some 5-10 kilometers away, and nobody detected them. Nobody. 300 people.
And no security.
We are not talking of 20, we are not talking of 50. Nobody accosted them. Then how many security checkpoints are you expected to encounter while going to that correctional
facility?
Does it mean I can just walk in, you know, and then we only meet only one security encounter? There are supposed to be stages. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. And then nobody detected all this. And then after carrying out this operation, which must have lasted for hours, they left. You know, traveling for hours, for kilometers. Nobody detected them.
When they were returning?
When they were returning. And we are talking about almost 1 week now How many people have been arrested? So what we have done is that we are giving trophy to terrorism. We have embodied them. We have told them, we are giving them the impression that there is nothing they cannot do, and they will get. This is not the first jailbreak. It happened at Ibadan, and nothing happened. So I'm really worried. What kind of security system did you have for this kind of prison? There is no doubt that there were internal collaborators. The invaders knew where their men were. They knew the time that was good for them to attack. They knew the escape routes. So they had a very good information, and it was a very perfect, plot for them. So I think it's an embarrassment that this thing even happened in the federal capital city, where the seat of power, all the of power of military, DSS, Army, Navy, this is the headquarters, and these guys just carry out this competition like that. I think this is one of the.
Mr. President seems shocked when he went there. Even the Senate President was, also very, very livid. Saying the failure of the system.
I don't know why the President is shocked. This is not the first time. We've had 11 jailbreaks since October 2020. So what is the shock there?
Since October 2020?
Yes, we've had 11.
So within 2 years.
At 11. So what is the shock? You can say that you are disappointed. I would have expected him to say, look, I'm disappointed in my men. They didn't get the job done, this and that. But not to say he's shocked. You can only be shocked when such a thing had not happened before.
Yes,
but where such a thing had happened with some level of regularity, you cannot come and say you are shocked. No. You should not say certain things as if you are programmed.
And my own problem with even the administration is that we won't have people throwing in the well, and heads will not roll.
You won't have people punished. How many people have been punished for this? Because look, the people who run the custodial centers, they go to the National Assembly, they pitch for their budgets. They ask for the things that they need. Now, if I provide the things that you need, then you must deliver.
Yes.
If you don't deliver...
Too much is given.
If you don't deliver, then I will get you off that job. Because I know that Nigerians will ask me. Everybody is talking about the president now. The people that the president is condoning their ineptitude.
Yes.
It is not those people that will be blamed at the end of the day. It's the president.
It's the president.
It's the president, yes. So you have no reason.
Nobody is talking about the Controller General.
No, do they? Even me, I don't know his name.
Prison? Nobody is talking about the Interior Minister.
I don't know his name. I'm confessing that I don't know his name. It is the buck stops at the desk of the president. If president does not have this habit of sending people away even when they are failing, look at how long it took to even send the service chiefs packing and replace them. It wasn't as if they were doing something unusual. It was clear that they were failing. They were failing. Spirits. You were failing. The Senate was complaining about them. The Senate was making motion after motion about their failures. The president continued to hold them. He even extended the same way he extended the tenure of the Accountant General of the Federation, only for us to be told that the man whose tenure was extended had actually been stealing our money. At least that's what the EFCC told us. And they did not even tell us more money. They were talking in excess of 80 billion by one man. That's a man that the president trusted enough to extend his tenure against service rules. So it's not a matter to be shocked about. 11 since October 2020, and you are shocked. In Kaba, my state, the other day, there was another jailbreak. Deliberately, they went to just set people free. Some of those guys had been in those prisons before.
Yes.
And they have information, and the loose system of our prisons ensure that they are even communicating with one another. To communicate with them, they know where. You know how I know that Boko Haram keeps tabs of their people in detention. There was a time that We wanted to do a prisoner swap with them. They mentioned their people that they want freed, and they mentioned the prisons where they were. So how could they have known that if they were not in regular communication with those their people? And before this attack, they must have been communicating with their people who are inside. Why didn't they go to the other section of the prison? How come it is the section where their own people were that they focused on and ensured that everybody, every Boko Haram detainee got out of jail? So this is something that a lot of planning went into. We can continue to deceive ourselves that they are ragtag, they don't know what they are doing, they are this and that. But every time we fail against them, every time the operation succeeds, the joke, the greater joke is on us.
Penetrated the system.
Well, we are spending billions on buying armor tanks, Tucano, heavy-duty military vehicles, but we are being humiliated by people who were probably sleepers, people who have no training in the best military schools. So it's embarrassing. And unless we address systemic problem of corruption, of lack of inclusion, this system may continue to produce more terrorists. More so that those that carry out atrocities do so and nothing happens to them. I hope this government, this country will be better by next year when the new administration comes in.
Okay. We have a caller. Adi is calling us from London.
Yeah, good
Thank you for joining us, Adi. Yes, go ahead, please.
You are welcome back. Yes, I hope
Thank you,
need,
brother.
just recover the Maishano in Kano. You see, this is a security issue we are talking about. At the time, it is serious because it's getting to a dangerous level now. You see, a desire changes nothing. A vision changes something, but a determination changes everything. Because until the president determines that enough is enough, then things will not go right. You see, our people now are living in. You see, that's why I thank God for the governor he gave us in Mondo State. He's the current governor. We want to get rid of all these fears in the heart of people. You see,
Thank you for your contribution, Adi.
Every day they show it here about this security issue.
Thank you for your contribution. So, we'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
July 16th, 2022, Osun governorship election. From the first vote to the critical count, 15 contestants, 3 front runners. Understand what's happening in Osun State. Watch the most trusted name in news. Join our team of reporters for hourly live updates, full coverage, and studio analysis until the next governor is declared. Watch the highlights of the aftermath of the election on TVC Breakfast and This Morning. TVC News, first with breaking news.
So, all in favor say aye. Those against me, the ayes have it.
What do you know about the legislature, its role in governance, and as one of the 3 arms of government? Lagos Parliament is here to bring it to you as it is. Here to bring you every detail you need to know about the legislature in Africa's most populous city. On Lagos Parliament to get a chance to meet the lawmaker of the week. Events are critically reviewed. You can also observe plenary in Yoruba language. I am Abimbola Agbebi. Join me every Friday at 9 p.m. as I take you through the activities of the legislature.
Thank you for staying with us. It's Journalist Hangout on Sunday. For the people of Ekiriade in Kogi State, the annual New Yam Festival is much more than celebration of the season of harvests. The festival, now Christian Ekiriade Day, is used as an event that fosters togetherness and unity as sons and daughters of the town from far and near attend to discuss issues of mutual interest. This year's celebration is not short of this, as you will see in this story by TVC News' Moyo Thomas.
Ekiriade, a community in Ijumo local government area of Kogi State, was recently a beehive of activities as indigenes of the community from within and outside the country came together to celebrate Ekiriade Day. The day, which has been celebrated annually over the years, was set aside as a meeting point for all indigenes in a bid to foster unity and togetherness and celebrate a culture that binds them all together. What sets Ekiriade apart is a major development in the community, purely driven by the efforts of the indigenes. How the Ekiriade Day was conceived and how it has grown in significance since its inception is surely a source of pride to the people of the community.
Ekiriade Day is a sort of awareness about to know how we are together, to cement together the love, unity, and cohesiveness of Ekiriade, so that we bond together and come together and affect our developmental efforts.
The significance of today's event is to showcase our cultural heritage, and at the same time, for the development of the town, we have to call for donation of funds to carry out some projects in the village.
Was to find a day in the year where everybody will grant to and come to the square to relax. Primarily farmers, and everybody will go to the farm and will not return until Sunday, and after worship they return. But this day was set aside for them not to go to anywhere.
Now
they relate at home, eating the new yam in the festival, and at the same time celebrate ourselves. It has grown over the years, and by the grace of God today, it has become a national event whereby people come from all walks of life to join us. It is no longer restricted to the indigenes of the community. Other communities join us, and later other states. So it has become a national event.
It's a time we come together because Ekiriade is known for self-help development. Because we are very few, most of the things you have around here are we contributed 1 naira, 2 naira from here. Like this secondary school you see now, this high school, the first secondary school in Ijumo local government. It was built through communal efforts. So it's a time we come together, rejoice together, and call our friends of the community, and they contribute, help us in developing the community. It's about development.
We used to be #1 in local land, in education, in everything. We are noted for Ekiriade is a day that we all glamour to see. Every year, anywhere we are happy that Ekiriade Day is coming. All of us would like to come home to celebrate. So it's a very good, it's a very important day to every one of us in Ekiriade.
This year's celebration was very significant as the people of the community decided to adopt a cultural attire that will symbolize their identity, and this was officially launched at the 2022 Ekiriade Day. Men, women, both young and old, adorn the attire with pride, as to them it signifies royalty.
You know, when you see a Benue man, when you see that cap, you know that this is a Benue person. So when Olori came up with that idea that he wants to go for such thing, I said, okay, it's a good idea. So she came to the council, Oluwade council, because we have to give approval before anything can be done in the community. So immediately he came, everybody, we keyed into it.
I have thought over it severally that we should have our identity so that when you see somebody afar off tying the head tie or the cap or the muffler, you should be able to tell that this is my brother. So when the innovation came, I called some people to partner with me so that we can bring it to limelight. Then we had the consent of the Oluwade Council, and here we are today.
These colors you can see, there's gold, there's red, there's blue. You can easily say royalty, life, love, all represented in this. So this attire speaks about royalty, it speaks about unity, it speaks about unity of purpose, it speaks about love for hegemony and for family. So it's quite well thought out. There's a lot of thinking behind it, and the choice, I think I agree with it, because it's quite beautiful.
One of the highlights of the day was the conferment of chieftaincy titles and awards in recognition of the tremendous contributions of indigenes to communal development. All recognized indigenes were also presented with a staff of office and certificates.
I am proud, I am pleased, I am elated to be a recipient of a chieftaincy award from my roots. It just recognizes the little input that one has been able to put into my Jerusalem, and I see this as a catalyst to speed up more interest, more zeal to do more for Ekiriade.
It was defining enough about the little contributions I've made, and it's not about to celebrate one, but for the people to say, oh, you have done remarkably well, and I think you deserve something. And I just believe that what was done to us yesterday was a challenge, and it remains a challenge for us to do more and to continue to explore ways and means and opportunities to make further contributions to the development of the community and the Nigeria project in general.
The chief, you see, if I say chief, I have received so many chieftaincy, but the one that is most paramount to me as of today is the one given by my community. And so I'm the Olugbayi, Otumba Olugbayi of Ekiriade land.
My expectations are very, very high. Very, very high. In a very short time from now, we hope that this event that we are witnessing today will become a global event. Many of our friends from abroad who are not called on they will come from Europe, they will come from the Americas, and they will join us on a day like this.
The culture and tradition of the people of Ekiriade were displayed in dances. Different groups in the community danced to pay homage to the paramount head, Maoro One, Oluwade of Ekiriade, with some of the groups bearing new yams and other harvests. Even masquerades also paid homage. This year's festivities will remain indelible in their minds. This is even more significant as opportunities to mark festivities such as this has continued to reduce due to increasing insecurity in Nigeria. Moya Thomas, TVC News.
Jerusalem, tell us about it.
Well, it's a celebration that usually brings together the sons and daughters of Ekenade from all walks of life. Every year, people come from the US, from the UK, from all parts of the world to be part of this. And more innovations are being brought into it to make it something that is difficult for our people to ignore. You know, when it's difficult to ignore, you are guaranteed of good attendance, and that's what we are seeing. They've introduced the mountain hike competition, introduced this last year, and we are seeing more and more of our people taking part in it. When it comes to communal efforts, there are very few communities where people are prepared to sacrifice like Ekenade. As the traditional ruler said, the first secondary school in the Ejumo Kingdom, in Ejumo local government, is the Baptist High School. And Baptist High School was built strictly through communal effort. It wasn't government that built the school, it wasn't the missionaries. The people came together to build their school, all by themselves. And we've seen...
Papa and Mama.
Yes, and we've seen even roads being constructed. So when the traditional ruler comes in and he says, my people, let us do this, you see people jumping, you know, to support the traditional ruler and ensure that his mandate is upheld. So that way, progress is being made. What you saw in December last year, if you go back home now, you are not going to see it. The community is lit up. You have like solar lights everywhere. The road running through the community has been tarred thanks to Honorable Abiodun Faleke, a worthy son of the town. He has tarred the major road running through the community, and there are solar lights.
Remember representing Ikeja Federal Constituency?
Yes, and there are solar lights provided through the hard work of General Oshano Queen, the former commander of Brigade of Guard during the Obasanjo regime, you know, just to make the place look beautiful at night. So it's a place that you want to be, and I advise you to come with us to celebrate the next which is next year.
If we have communities, they won't be waiting for government. If you have cream de la cream of that community coming together every year to evaluate what is happening in the society, not just waiting for government to fix everything.
Actually,
it's time to bring back.
From time immemorial, this festival is a very common thing across many communities, especially in the southwest and where the Yoruba, and even in the eastern part of the country. It's about unity of the people. It's about common spirit. When you are talking about Yam Festival, you know, usually comes around June, July, when the new yam is coming out. So we are talking about fertility of the land, fertility of women. So it's a festival that people attach a lot of importance to. In many communities, this tradition is gone. But I'm happy that we still have some communities that are able to sustain, you know, this kind of tradition. And I'm not surprised if you look at the history of Ekenade, which dates back to about 12th century. They left Ife around that time, during the reign of Aworo Lokun. So it's one of the oldest cities in the world. I can say that confidently. And I'm glad that they still sustain this tradition and they still ensure that the tradition does not die. So it's about our heritage. And I can tell you these are things that we expect people to support because it's about tourism. People travel from here to Brazil to watch festivals. If we give institutional support to this kind of festivals, it can attract a lot of people from all over the world. So I'm very happy, and I congratulate the people of that community that they're able to, stage this kind of festival. I think it's a lesson for so many communities that have allowed this festival to die. So congratulations to people of Ekene.
It says a lot about the traditional ruler.
Yes.
If they can sustain this kind of thing, attracting more people.
We are lucky to have a traditional ruler who is young, who was my senior in secondary school. He's young, he's brimming with ideas, he's digitally wired, and he's the architect of a lot of the good new things coming into the town. And the Sky Relay is his target. And thankfully, he also has someone like my dad, the Akene elect of Ekene, who was his teacher. And
was the King's Oba's teacher?
Yes, in secondary school. My dad was his teacher, and my dad provides all the support that he needs. You know, they are working together for the progress of the town, and the results are there for everyone to see. As I said, if we visited the town last December, go there this year, you'll be amazed at some of the projects that the different unions, the different chapters of Ekene Community Development Association have executed. Like the Lagos chapter now, they have a budget, they have projects that they've made up their minds that they are going to deliver this year, and they are focused on delivering. It's the same thing with the UK chapter, the same thing with the Ilorin chapter. So all of those chapters is a form of competition between them that, look, let's see what the Lagos people, even in terms of the dressing to the ceremony, everyone wants to, you know, come out in their best and all that. This is something that really brings the town together, and you see joy on every face, and long may this celebration last, because it's just for the good of all.
Amen. Moving on now, and finally on today's show, in years gone, illustrious top football clubs like stationery stores, Julius Berger, First Bank, Nigerian Port Authority, NPA, New Nigerian Bank, and more used to have Lagos as their base. The only club flying the flag of top flight football for Lagos, Mountain of Fire and Miracles MFM Football Club, is also going into obscurity. The league management company, LMC, has confirmed MFM FC as the first team to be relegated from the 2021-2022 Nigerian Professional Football League NPFL season. The team has remained at the bottom of the NPFL log for most parts of the season, and a home defeat to Niger Tornadoes at the Agege Stadium in Lagos last week confirmed its relegation, with 2 matches to go. Thank you for staying with us. And joining us is Godwin Enakena. He's the Director of Sports for Mountain of Fire Ministry.
Yeah, you're very right.
Yes, okay. You're welcome.
Yeah, let me say thank you. At least if one of the very few I can pronounce my surname correctly.
Oh, of course, I listen to that every day. On Top FM, I don't miss you every day by 11 a.m.
Yeah.
I don't miss you. Godwin Enakena is somebody. This is the first time I'm meeting you. I'm not saying really, I'm not saying you. I listen to your program. Now, because of your involvement in MFM FC, you started following MFM and started going to Agege Stadium to watch MFM. And there's this sentimental attachment that, MFM is our own in Lagos here. And from 2016, how did you get here?
Well, let me start by saying thank you very much. And for MFM is our own. You should know, for Lagosians, after over 2 decades, we didn't have top-flight football in Lagos. And when God used some of us to take the team to that height, the first church in the history of Nigerian football to play at that level, we knew it was going to be very difficult. I mean, some of the shenanigans we have in Nigerian football. I was talking to Honorable Kunle Shonare a few months ago, and he said, Remo Stars will come, they will go. Remo Stars will go and go, and this time where they are, that even if they finish 16th or 15th on the table, they will go to the church to have a Thanksgiving. But for him to be number 3 on the table right now means that it could be on the continent. A feat that had been achieved years ago, 2017 precisely. Remember, MFM played in the CAF Champions League by finishing second. Actually dropped to second on the last day of the league, as it were. So many things came together. But I wouldn't want to talk about those things. I rather want to talk about if the journey through life is too smooth, there's something is not just right. Sometimes you come down and you go up. We're not going into oblivion, certainly not. We only dropped to the 2nd division. There's a 3rd division, there's a 4th division, there's a 5th division.
Really?
Yeah. There's the NNL, there's NLO1, NLO2, NLO3. So then you have the Premier League. So that is it. We passed the 3-2-1 NNL, Premier League, CAF Champions League, CAF Confederation Cup. MFM has achieved so much. I mean, for some people, they will not understand. In 2014, MFM became the first church in the universe to win the Church World Cup. It happened in India, in Goa, India, the Church World Cup. So, I mean, in Lagos, we won everything that you can think about. Now, this is where we are. The reality is here. But what I want to assure Nigerians, because MFM has gone beyond being a Lagos team to being a Nigerian project, a church project, because we now carry the flag of the church. And it is that we will not spend too long a time in the lower division. We'll be back in the Premier League this time next season, and I can place a bet on that.
Yes, and that's what we want to see. The challenge is not to ever fall. You would fall, but you must dust yourself up and tell yourself, look, I want to be back at the top. And MFM should be prepared to come right back to the top. That is the only way that the memories of the club that our people still cherish can keep flooding back again. There are people who identified with the club because of his numerous achievements within a short time. He didn't talk about a goal that was adjudged the best in the world that an MFM player scored. I remember, yes, it was on CNN.
Sekiro Latuboso.
Best goal in the world.
Yeah. 2018, at the Agege Stadium against Enugu Rangers. MFM won that game 2-1. For 1 week, CNN took that goal as the best in the world.
Best goal.
Best goal in the world.
In our own league here.
In Agege right here. The luck we had was on that day, that game was live on TV. If it wasn't live on TV, we wouldn't have seen that goal. Thank God. I mean, when I say goal, because the pay TV station, of course, will go and cover with a minimum of 8 cameras. If we have done our normal camera, the Nigerian way, 1 camera, you will only see 1 angle. But because that pay TV covered that particular game live, you could see that goal from different angles, the beauty of the goal. I mean, I want to ask, I mean, the question is, who has not fallen before?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That look,
Shooting Stars just came back. Shooting Stars. You were there for how many years?
Yes, for many years.
For many years.
For many years. You know, a lot of them,
my friend,
Kwara United, Kwara have been down, and they came up. A lot of them.
Even at a point, stationary stores was in the doldrums for years, and then they came back. They won the Nigerian League, won the Challenge Cup, you know. So clubs, remember Bendel Insurance?
Bendel is still at the bottom. They just gained promotion again.
Yes.
After how many years?
To LMC?
Yes, to the NPL. The first team to qualify for the Premier League right now from the NNL, which is, I mean, NNL has got 4 matches to go. That is the second division, as we call it. You know, Bendel Insurance. Remember, we're talking about Bendel Insurance.
Bendel Insurance.
Popular.
Yes, they went down.
Bendel Insurance won the Challenge Cup in 1972.
Yeah.
You know, with that, Sebastian Broderick's free kick, and then went down. Nobody heard about Bendel Insurance until Coach Alabiesian led the team to win the Nigerian Challenge Cup, now known as FA Cup, in 1978, beating Rangers International 3-0. That's a club that people had almost forgotten.
Written off.
They bounced back and won the league. I mean, won the Challenge Cup, and then won the league, you know, the following year. Then played in the African Cup Winners.
Yes, that was what it was called then.
So, the point that I'm making is clubs, great clubs fall, they bounce back again. Yeah. We've seen Nottingham Forest now. Nottingham Forest is one of the greatest clubs in UK history.
Champions League winner.
In fact, it has won, Arsenal has never won a Champions League, but it has pleased God to allow Nottingham Forest to win the Champions League 2 times. Yes, Nottingham Forest is a great club. It has history that some of the clubs on the scene now do not have. Exactly. So they are back now.
Back in the Premier League?
They are back in the Premier League.
After how many years?
So MFM has a lot to learn from, to ginger it, to bounce back.
Since 2016, you'd have seen players, and even players that they've immigrated to Europe and are even doing well, when they have seen players making exploits since you guys entered the Major League.
Well, I spoke about this yesterday because Dr. Lukoya and his wife, their birthday is on Friday. They were born same day, July 15th. And there's a countdown to that birthday. And we had a live stream yesterday where I talked to
General Overseer of
General Overseer, Dr. Daniel Kolawole Lukoya, and Dr. Shadi Lukoya, the wife. You know, we are counting down to that birthday, and we did a live stream, you know, something about that has to do with the church completely. And I talked about the youth repositioning agenda. I mean, there's some education for some persons. In 2006, 2007, Dr. Lukoya called me to his office and he said, God has given him a vision to reposition the youth for God. 70-point agenda. Football, sport was just 1 out of 70. So there are 69 other programs for emancipating the youth that Dr. Lukoya is running. It didn't form, or I didn't start, because I started in the football club in 2011. We actually started in 2007 with what we called then the Dr. D.K. Lukoya football competition. All our churches in Nigeria and Africa will congregate at Prayer City. And that's how we were playing. Until 2011, the kids started agitating that they want to play. They want, you know, to say, okay, let's get into the league. And I bought a slot, Aqua Stars, in Lagos, and we got into the league. Now, what am I saying? It is not for Dr. Lukoya, it's not about winning the league. It's not about staying in the league, as it were. Staying in the league, of course, why not? We are in the Premier League, we should stay there. But that is not the most important aspect. It is what we've been able to do, the impartation of the football club, MFM FC, that is so dear to his heart. That is so dear to some of us who are with him. We talked about Sikuru Latuvosu. He went to Europe, you know, he was in Turkey, he was in Egypt, he's back home, and he's just a champion of the league in Nigeria. Let me tell you, the top scorer in the league in Nigeria, as of today, Chiji Akuneto plays for Rivers United. I picked him from somewhere in Iwaya in 2007.
Iwaya,
yes, Iwaya, yeah. Sekiru Olatibo. So after his sojourn in Europe and in Africa with the Egyptian team, he came back. It's also with Rivers United. I mean, it's two products of MFM FC are today as we speak. Rivers United are champions of the league in Nigeria, and two of our players are there. They are scattered everywhere. The vice champions, in quote, I mean, they are the vice champion. Plateau United has got our coach, Fidelis Lechuku, who was playing for MFM, picked up an injury. And
was playing?
Yes, for MFM. When we were doing the DK Olukoya football competition, then, back in 2007. And the Gio Dr. Olukoya sent him to the NIS, where they train coaches. He came out of that and is the longest serving coach we can think of with one team right there. He's the coach of Plateau United, and they came second in the league. We also have Austin Okpara, captain of MFM FC, who left just 2 years ago. He's with Plateau United, vice champions of the league in Nigeria. We have them all over the world. We have Ode, Stephen Ode. Stephen Ode is scoring goals aplenty everywhere it turns, everywhere it goes in Europe. So the players have so many that you can talk about. So it's not really about, oh, they won the league, they didn't win. We win. Why don't we want to win the league? But again, we have gone down, like Otito just said, there's no shame in going down. It is how quickly you come back that's important. We bounce back again, but the invitation has been wonderful.
You know, my concern and why I want to see MFM come back quickly is the fact that Lagos is missing a good piece of the action. Yes. I mean, Lagos will miss a good piece of the action once we get to next season and
MFM is not
on the cards. There was a time when we had tough clubs. The toughest derbies in Nigerian league were played here in Lagos.
At the Nico Stadium?
Yes, when we had NEPA and Stores, ACB, Julius Baja. These teams at the same time playing in the same league. Now we have a situation in which all that is gone.
The MFM came and wiped away that year. Now we are back there. You understand what I'm saying? And even you know,
I want to see even more than one club.
Yes,
coming out of here and playing together. You know.
But I know I must speak for the FA in Lagos, and I do know that they are doing something in that direction. We missed it again this year. You know, we had 4 teams in the NNL. We had several meetings with the Lagos State Football Association where they encouraged the teams, where they even went out of their way to organize pre-season competitions, just to put the teams in that position for one. It was Operation 2 teams from Lagos. We had Van der Reiser, Sporting Lagos, Otasolo, and Ikorodu City. These 4 teams in the NLL. We actually thought, we worked towards it. Unfortunately, it didn't just work. Like they say, we'll go again next year.
I wanted to ask you the challenges of our league, because a lot of people will tell you that, look, anytime I listen to your program and I get to hear of what you guys faced, or what you particularly faced when you were handling MFM. Now, and we know the way it obtains outside the country and everything. What are those things you don't want to see again in our leagues?
You see, unfortunately, our football, our sport is tied to government's apron. Until we detach ourselves, it never will work. As we speak, yesterday I was listening to the Minister of Sport, my friend Sunday Dari, and he said some things that were very germane. But some persons, you know, we don't take him seriously, but he was saying the truth. That as far as the laws are there, every federation is an appendage, in quote, of the Ministry of Sport. The Ministry of Sport superintends sport in Nigeria. The NFF, up to this minute, still collects money from the federal government of Nigeria. You are tied to the apron. The NFF, for you to become NFF president, the government has to sanction it. For you to be the chairman of the League Management Committee, the LMC, the government has to sanction it. So many things happen. I always say to my friends, I say, okay, take a good look at your country, Nigeria, and please tell me what is working. What are you proud of as a Nigerian? Why do you think that football will be different? Why do you think that sport will be different? Do you have good roads? Have you got water? Do you have light in your house? Do you have security?
Right, rampant corruption.
I mean, are you almost, show me one Nigerian that will go to the police and say, my son is an armed robber. Show me one Nigerian that will go, how many of, have you heard, there are 419s everywhere. How many of us have gone and say, okay, the house I stay, there are some Yahoo boys there. Come and see them. And you think we can fix, I say this and I repeat, I've said it over time. If you don't fix this country, forget about sports. A government wants of society. A government wants to describe sport as Ministry of Play. The Ministry of Sport, the strongest tool that you can use. Dr. Luka will say, with the word of God in this hand, with the football here, the case will come. The government says the Ministry of Sport, the most powerful in any nation. That's why you see when they say Minister of Sport, Minister of Information, Minister of Petroleum, these three, information, petroleum, and sport, they are the best known ministers. Now in Nigeria, said one of the sports ministry is Ministry of Play.
That's why they never give the ministry the best. They just look for, they usually look for people without
so this year now, we're not going for the World Cup.
No, we're not supposed to go to the World Cup. Did we plan to go to the World Cup? You know, there's too much apple stands. It just drops on your laps and you celebrate it. You know, we celebrate mediocrity in this nation where a man who said, vote for me, I will build roads for you. He delivers on that promise, he goes there and puts a signpost and he says, taxpayers' money at work. This is your manifesto. That was the promise.
You know, my biggest concern is even that our people are becoming more and more disconnected from even watching the league matches here. They are not interested. They would rather spend that time gambling, playing Bet Nigeria and the rest of them. In Ghana, you still see huge
followership
crowds at their matches. And I'm surprised. Why, as much as we like to diminish the Ghanaians and all that, go and watch their big teams when they are playing.
The traditional teams.
There's up to 40,000 people watching. Here, Ayo.
Apart from Carlo Pillars.
We had an FA Cup match, FA Cup final here in Lagos during the Fashola years that they flung the gates open. We play matches here, they fling the gates open. Yet, the stadium will not be packed. When we were growing up, I would travel from Ilorin to watch Benden Insurance in Ogbe Stadium, Benin. And the stadium will be filled up. Virtually every game. Whether it is Flash Flamingos playing or Bender United, where you had Yamaha, the Joseph Egariba, the penalty specialist, the stadium will be full because there were individuals, yes, or NMB, the Lawrence Orairo and the rest of them, because there were usually individuals, 1 or 2, 3 players that people have venerated over the years. They want to watch them play.
Okay, let me quickly.
Anymore.
Adekunle is calling us from Lagos. Thank you for joining us, Adekunle.
Okay, good afternoon. Good evening, Mr.
Good afternoon. Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, afternoon, Mr. Jide and please, my own contribution concerning, we appreciate the effort of MFM, and what I'm trying to say is that it's really not better if, with the situation of the country now, if the church can drop the vision and make diversity to maybe farming, so that we produce and employ youth, and because I know it's very, very tough to raise steel and successfully, especially in this Nigeria.
Thank you, Adekunle. Thank you for your contribution. To buttress what Jide just said again, when I was growing up, my father used to take me to that Onikon Stadium. That's when I got to know the Abiola Babes, goalkeeper Edward Ansah, goalkeeper Raymond King, you know. In those days, it was sport culture on a Sunday night like this.
Let me say something. You know, sometimes these comparisons or analysis that would turn paralysis if we don't handle them, you know, seriously. In those days that we're talking about, when you have to, for instance, Bender Insurance are playing in Benin City at the Ogbe Stadium, and you don't get there for like 12-1 for a 4 p.m. game, you can't get into the stadium. Then we didn't have any option. A lot of us did not have access to watching European football. So you were limited by the choice that you had to watch the Nigerian game. Then while we were sleeping, the whites were involving. And they realized one thing, that you need to force this thing down the throats of our people, put it on TV. Make it
along the line, we cut the bug.
Hold on, make it entertaining, make it interesting so that they can watch. It's not just football, you know, as it were. We were still sleeping. Then, you know, we as Nigerians, we don't run marathon. We like the sprint. We stop, you know, like that. We put it on TV. But because government is involved, because you want government money, you know, the government money, there's no accountability. So in the private sector, if someone gives you money, let me give you the pay station that was, you know, sponsoring the TV thing. The top management said they have not sold an additional decoder by putting that game on TV, by paying for it. He said they would rather do the one they put 20 people in a room and they do assault and whatever. The audience is more. That
did not reflect on their turnover.
The one we pack people in a room reflected so much beautifully on their turnover. So why waste money on, they were being kidnapped. Remember?
Accidents.
They were traveling to Owerri, and they are expatriates, and 2 Nigerians were kidnapped, and they paid in dollars to get those people out of. So when they eventually continued, they restricted their coverage of the league to certain areas. They refused to go to some areas. And with time then we started demanding, what you gave us last year is small, we can increase it. And they said, oh, I think we're even doing you a favor. And they left. Now, the good news, from what I heard from Davis Nowomi, who is the chief executive officer of the league, the Nigerian Professional Football League, that next year, that our league, that's the League One now, that's the Premier League, will be on local channels. Maybe let me use the word terrestrial TV, you know, now. So I can't wait for, you know, we have turned to, the anointing of Thomas is on all of us. We have to see before we believe. So let's wait till next year and see what will happen at the end of the day. So when you saw Sikro Latu Bosu and Co, like we're saying, our games were on TV, but now
we have to leave it there. My brother, Godwin Nakena, thank you.
Thanks. And our friend, the first PRO, is saying that the police will discipline any of their men who misbehave, but that guy is not a policeman. He said, fine.
That guy that slapped Pastor.
Yes, he's not a policeman, but policemen have a history of misbehaving in that manner. But we admit that person was not a policeman.
Okay. I want to thank Wale Adeoye for joining us earlier, and Mr. Godwin Nakena, thank you for the good work you are doing in Nigerian sport. Thank you. We keep listening to you.
Thank you.
And the maestro himself, Papa Jide Kolade, we've done another one for Sunday.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
All right. Okay. That's our offering this Sunday. Join us tomorrow for a regular episode of Journalist Hangout by 5 p.m. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11:30 today. Now, we're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Never miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
TVC News First, with breaking news.
We cover the big political stories in Nigeria, but people want more than just politics.
Business news, sports, naturally, but you need news to live by also.
Stories about education, health, personal finance, and hey, even lifestyle news.
Newspaper reviews, travel news, and much more.
Nigeria. It's more than just politics. It's life.
Start your day with us every weekday.
TVC News Breakfast. First, fast, balanced, and accurate.